Packers tight end Tucker Kraft is back. He returned to full team drills over the weekend. First time since he tore his ACL. That's a pretty encouraging step from the injury that he suffered in Week 9 last season. At the time of his injury, Kraft had 32 catches for 489 yards and 6 touchdowns.
ESPN insider Adam Schefter believes it will make
on the field.
They're going to take into account my rep range probably until halfway through the season. Then they're just going to pat me on the ass to send me out there and send me to Wolves.
So this is obviously some pretty big news. He looked good reportedly over the weekend, was catching everything during practices. But what does it mean for Jordan Love? Because if you take a look at the full screen graphic that we have here, this is the Athletics quarterback rankings that were released last week. Jordan Love comes in at 10th. He cracks the top 10 for the first time. He was ranked 13th last season before he posted the third highest QBR in 2025.
$77 million.
Kind of an enigma in a lot of ways because this is a team that's always in the mix, yet sometimes the quarterback play doesn't meet the moment. So how do you view him? If you put him in, I'll give you 3 categories. Good, great, or elite. Where does he fall for you?
I have him right in the middle. I have him great. I think he's above the good quarterbacks in our league. And it's how you slash him. You look at the elite. I look at elite, it's easy. There's 5 guys to me that have separated themselves that are in that elite category, whether it's proof of what they've won or proof of what you see on the football field. You have Matthew Stafford, to me, is in that category. Patrick Mahomes definitely at the top of that category. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. To me, those guys have separated themselves of their skill set and what they've accomplished in this league. That next tier,
Coach
that
Matt
top
LaFleur
10 list
did not
you're
hold
looking
back
at, those
when
next
talking about
5 guys
possibly
are
losing.
the great. Because when you start to look at it, where are you putting the good guys? Like, there are guys that are good. You can't say everybody else stinks. So Jordan Love is above those guys. He's a franchise quarterback. He is a guy that has won a playoff game. He is somebody that puts up the numbers each and every year for the Green Bay Packers since he's been there. Now, he's not elite because he hasn't done the 4,000 yards. He's not in the MVP conversation. He hasn't been to a Super Bowl. Those are the things that are reserved for the guys that have accomplished that. But he is still above. You guys are shaking your head. I want to, as soon as you say Jordan Love is good, I want you to then tell me where the other quarterbacks are. You're just going to say every single quarterback in the league, other than the top 5,
Correct.
are all
right
just
now,
good.
We're still
and there
waiting
are
for
no
him to
great
get a
quarterbacks.
long-term
Like,
extension.
how are we?
Do you know that Jason McCourty made one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history against the Rams for the Patriots? This man knows how to win at the highest of levels, and he was such a massive contributor to winning.
Yeah, he was.
Why don't you consider Jalen Hurts then in your top 5? I know this about Jordan Love, but how is Jordan Love great? What? And Jalen Hurts not elite. He wins. Jordan Love doesn't win.
Okay, if I can say to you, like, maybe you're right. Maybe I need to put Jalen Hurts in that category. So now let's get back to Jordan Love and where Jordan Love should be.
I'm just saying, because you had a great setup. You said it's based on individual accomplishment, right? And then overall, like, accolades.
Yes, I'll give you that. Jalen Hurts should be in the elite.
Okay.
So now make your
ESPN
case.
insider Adam
I'm
Schefter
wondering
believes
what
it will
Jordan
make
Love then
Kraft
has
the highest paid
to be
tight
great
end in the NFL.
The individual accolades are what? What are never been top 5 in the MVP, if I'm not mistaken.
That's why he's not elite.
He's never won a division.
That's why he's not elite.
Right. I'm saying I don't think he can be considered great. I think he's Courtney was very smart in how she asked this, because the right answer is probably very good, but there was no very good as an answer, right? No, I understand. So, like, I think by default, elite guys you mentioned, great would be that next level of quarterbacks that I would look at and say, if you want to say that Jalen Hurts is more great than elite or Joe Burrow more great than elite, I'm fine with that. If you want to put Dak Prescott in there, if you want to put Stafford more great than elite, I'm fine with that too. I just don't know what Jordan Love has other than your eyes are way more valuable than mine in looking at football. What you're doing is, I believe he's going to be what I think he's going to be, but he hasn't actually been that yet.
I can understand that approach. Brock Purdy would be in the great category.
Yeah.
Now, he's accomplished more things, so you can make that argument and say, all right, well, that's the difference between those two guys.
Great one.
But then as you continue to go down and you start looking at guys like, where does Baker Mayfield fall? Where does
Good quarterback.
All right. So
I think we're a different team.
Where's Jordan Love in comparison to Baker Mayfield?
Same.
I think that's
He's a good quarterback.
So
in the same category, but maybe not same ability. See, I think you look at it, and in a way, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, you look at it as Jordan Love should be significantly better than Baker Mayfield. But when you factor in what they've actually done accomplishment-wise, Baker has won divisions. Jordan Love has never won a division.
Yeah, that's the part that's hard for me to get over, J-Mac. And I'm with you. You're throwing around the elite term like it's a participation trophy. We'll have that argument on a different day. But when it comes to the Jordan Love of it all, I struggle to call him a great quarterback if he's never won the division, and he's going into year 4 as the full-time starter, year 7 in the NFL. This guy is 1-3 in the postseason. We're still hanging on to that playoff win in Dallas from 2023, bro. That's a long time ago.
Unstoppable.
And so I understand
He saw 5
the
targets.
traits that Jordan
He
Love
caught
is
all
bringing to
5
the
of
party
them.
and how
That include
everybody gets excited about that. But when we start talking about traits as opposed to talking about what's happening on the field, that just means that we can't talk about enough success. And to me, when you start getting into the realm of great or elite, it has to be success when you need to be at your best. Competitive greatness. Being at your best when your best is required. That hasn't always been Jordan Love. And you can make the argument that there are games that you point to where Jordan Love's mistakes directly impact the ability for the Packers to be able to win football games. Those are the types of things that the great ones, that the elite ones, don't do on a regular basis.
So a guy like Bryce Young has won a division. So am I counting him higher because he won the division?
I think there's nuance.
Yeah, because the division you win matters. You're saying Baker Mayfield, yes, he won your division in Tampa Bay against a guy like Bryce Young in the NFC South in years where it was a if you can haul it, you can have it type of division winners.
It was in a playoff game for Cleveland, though.
Absolutely, and he won a playoff game for Cleveland. But how? That was what?
No, and I'm not. So here's where I give you on the Jordan Love. Here's to me, if you're the number one Jordan Love fan, which I'm not saying you are, here's the path that I would take. The path to get to elite this year is right in front of them. Micah being out doesn't help the team. It certainly helps the Jordan Love narrative. And I think
I like that argument.
If he gets into the MVP conversation and they win a division and they make a run in the playoffs, all of the stuff that you believe he would do now is doubled and tripled because now I have actual resume
because
stuff.
Van Ness
So the path is there for him.
Yeah, but we also can't ignore the scar tissue from last year, which is losing 5 straight games and during that span, blowing not 1 but 2 double-digit leads to the Chicago Bears, a division rival. That can't happen if you're a great quarterback or an elite quarterback. It can't.
And if you're talking about narrative building, they're scheduled to open the season when we're not expecting Micah Parsons to be there. At Minnesota, at the Jets, Atlanta at home, at Tampa Bay, and then they have Chicago week 5. If they go 4-1 in that stretch, he's in the MVP mix and the conversation. And that's a way to then cement himself, J-Mac, as the best quarterback in his own division, because this quarterback tiers list has Jared Goff 1 right above him, and then it has Jordan Love. Do you agree with that? Do you think that you see your...
Just the consistency over time. Jared Goff has done it in that position, had his team in that role as a top 10 type of quarterback for a longer period of time.
But I guess I know I keep coming back to the winning thing, and I'm looking at 2 people that won Super Bowls, and a major
but you can
part
also
of it,
make the argument like I won a Super Bowl and I had 1 good season throughout a 13-year career. So my thing is that it can't only be just winning for these quarterbacks, because if I'm a quarterback and I'm a good quarterback with an elite team around me and I win more, that's not to just deteriorate the guy that doesn't maybe have as good of a team but still has a ton of traits and is productive in this league.
But we just saw the test case in your division with Caleb Williams, who didn't have as good of a team in his rookie year, and then follow that up with turning the organization around, the flip, having double-digit wins, winning the division, and winning a playoff game. I was with you until you start talking about quarterbacks that had a lot around them. Nobody's going to sit here and make the argument that over the last couple of years that Caleb Williams had more around him than Jordan Love, and yet Jordan Love still hasn't accomplished things that Caleb Williams has done, and he's just going into year 3.
Just semantics here. He did have a lot around him in 2024. He had one of the best receiving core. Offensive line wasn't that great, but still had a lot around him. Didn't have results.
But you can't use defense as the excuse for Jordan Love if we can't use defense as an impediment to Caleb Williams having to.
And that's fair. And Caleb is a little bit further down this list. I believe he's tied for 11th.
He's on his way.
Yeah, he's on his way. We'll see if Jordan Love's on his way further up that list soon. Okay, let's leave this one here. The AP